This is Jean Serino again. This is called The Conversation. Today, I am excited and pleased and thrilled to have with me this young man, Jesse Gillis, who I discovered in the wonderful Union Leader when he wrote an op-ed. He is a person for peace, and I'm all about that happening before I drop dead. I would like world peace, please. So I asked the editor to call him up and have him call me, and he did. And I will tell you a little bit about him, and then if you want to expound on who you are, you can, okay?
Okay.
He's a veteran, a military veteran, served 13 years total in the Air National Guard. Oh, you fly?
No.
Oh. I served in a CT, Connecticut.
Connecticut, yeah.
Unit between 2008 and 2018. So, then the NH unit out of peace between 2020 and 2023.
Yeah.
I was a radio maintenance technician in Connecticut and a bioenvironmentalist technician in New Hampshire. I deployed once overseas in 2012 for a period of 6 months for the, air defense of the Arabian Gulf.
Yeah.
To watch Iran. You just watched it?
Just watched it.
I was in Kuwait. Oh. And UAE. What's UAE?
United Arab Emirates.
Oh, okay. And so you were protecting the Arabs from something?
No, it was watching. It was just watching. It was part of a mission, just watching what Iran's activity.
Ah. Did you have drones at that time?
I mean, we
so.
did, but it wasn't a part of our mission.
That's the way you watch, I think, was a drone.
Radar, this was all air battle management. So they're drones, yes, but not part of anything I was doing.
Okay. So he is a forester. In 2008, he decided to work in the woods, stewarding our forests. So he keeps our forests growing and lovely. He graduated from UNH in 2023 with a bachelor's degree in forestry. He works for the New England Forestry Consultants as a forester. Oh, you work now for the.
Work now.
No, that's your group. As a technician, I'm aiming for my foster's license in the next 6 months. I work out of central New Hampshire. I asked him to write this. I work out of Central and Lakes region. I'm from Connecticut, having moved up to New Hampshire to attend UNH in 2019. So this was after your service. I live in Portsmouth while attending school. I moved with my partner, Amanda, recently to a duplex in Pembroke. Okay, this is the important part. My first real steps towards activism only began in the past few months. My knowledge of injustice and abuse of military for nefarious aims began while I was serving in Connecticut. I think between the years of 2012 and 2014, I began to learn about the ideologies and rot that got us into Iraq and Afghanistan. This led to my exposure of U.S. foreign policy. It's because of what is happening in Gaza that I feel it is my responsibility to take action. Very important. I was ignorant to what was happening before these events. I'd become active with New Hampshire Veterans for Peace, that's his group, and New Hampshire Peace Action, which I'm in also. I look forward to our conversation. Oh, okay. So, you want to expound on that, Jesse?
So becoming active, what I think is...
Well, you could talk a little bit about your experience in the military and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I say that I became aware, it wasn't until later, because I never paid much attention to it. I didn't serve. In the Air Force, most of us are supporting, most of the Air Force supports the flyers in the sky, but that takes a base, that takes infrastructure, that's maintenance, that's everybody that supports those people that fly. So even if you deploy, you're insulated from anything that's going on in a combat zone, but let alone whether it was Iraq or Afghanistan, you would be in a base. You wouldn't be out on a front line,
Right.
but because it was more of an occupation, you're not out with people, civilians. So I don't see any of that. I wouldn't know any issues, and I didn't really care, I would say, that what was going on until I learned why we were.
How old were you then?
I joined in 2008 because I wanted an opportunity to go to school.
Oh.
And so there was money, there was some stability, and
But how old were you in 2008?
20? I think it was 20.
Oh, you were a kid.
Yeah, I think it was 19 or 20.
A lot of kids, poor kids, and kids that want to get an education join the services
Yeah, they advertise it.
unknowingly. They don't know what they're getting into, apparently.
And so I, it was, I say, my dad's friend, my dad owned a bicycle shop not too far from the base in Connecticut, and his friend was a chief master sergeant, and he said, come join, you get a good job. And okay, I'll learn a trade and I'll go to school. And that's how I started. And as far as learning, maybe 2012, 2014, I don't know where I came across, I can't recall. I was thinking when I wrote the letters, I don't recall what was my first exposure to why we went to Iraq. It might have been a documentary. It might have been something off of a social media, just a quick post or like a snippet.
You talked with the men and women who were in combat?
No,
You didn't even talk to them?
No, I was just exposed. Why were we there? And you know what? It may have even been, as far as what we were doing with Iran, watching, so the ADAG mission, watching Iran, that is watching the skies, activity, pilots flying missions back and forth. And at some point I became aware that, I don't know, this seems like a waste of money. Why are we here? What are we doing? What is Iran? What is Iran doing? Why are they posing? And it felt like there was so much money in the infrastructure and the personnel there that this looks like a gross waste of money on something. And I didn't understand. We've been here for such a long time. And now my tour was 6 months, and it was in a base. We were on base. It was, I always referred to it as a not pleasant vacation, but like you didn't want to be there, but you were there, but it was fine. You went to the gym, you ate good, decent food.
Did you talk to the people, citizens of?
No, you're on base. You're insulated. You're totally. Only once or twice did I go out, but you were supposed to blend in. You just be cautious because they were friendly countries. I was in Kuwait and UAE, so it was friendly, but there's still animosity. That's what the United States, the military, was doing over there.
The people of the country were
so you're supposed
upset that you were there?
You were supposed to not supposed to make it so your presence wasn't known. You can go out, but you're a little quiet. You don't make any commotion. And it may have been a combination. I was exposed to something I saw, or that I was there and I thought this was a gross waste of money. And we call fraud, waste, and abuse. But this, I don't understand why we're here doing this. And still doing it.
I lived in Giuliano, which is a little bit above, third world country above Naples. And there was, Naples, the Bay of Naples has an awful lot of American sailors in it. And the Italians didn't like them. They were rude and threw things at them, and they didn't like them being there. So I don't know how you felt, how they felt in Iran, in Kuwait.
Well, it was that at the time there was still the general. You don't hear it, and you wouldn't hear it necessarily in public, but privately, like, I can't tell if that person's a terrorist or would do something harmful to us. A general distrust of Muslims or Arabs. So like you go out in public, it's obvious by our haircuts and who we are, and everybody who's looking at us, is that that was the kind of talk you'd hear in private amongst guys as you go out to a place.
You could have known those people.
could have.
You could have made friends.
But you weren't allowed to really intermingle outside. But and then again, it was an allied country, and we were in a safe place, but it was still somewhat secret that we were there, or pretending to be secret there for the American public.
So then what happened?
I finished my term 2018. That was Connecticut when I was still living down there. At that point, I knew that what we did to get into Iraq and why we were out of Iraq was illegal.
Yeah, my son was in the service for 23 years, and he went to when he went to Iraq. He said there were, what's his Cheney, his oil company. There were his signs all over the place. So
Halliburton. Oh, okay.
Were there? Yeah. He was disillusioned.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we didn't need to be in Iraq. That was ridiculous.
And that's the typical case I keep coming across when I hear testimonies is people that go there or have to go there. You said so yourself about your father having to go over during Vietnam to help
Vietnam,
out.
Yeah.
He was pro-war, and then you get there, and you're like, why are we here? This is illegal.
This is
I can't
crazy.
believe this is happening. Why is the coverage? And you come home and you're like, this is unacceptable.
Yeah. My father was a doctor, and he and I fought all the time about Vietnam. It was really very litigious. But he wanted to see what the hell's going on, and the AMA, the American Medical Association, had a program where it took American doctors to Vietnam, but they were supposed to only treat the Vietnamese. But my father got put in a barracks with a bunch of soldiers, so he would treat them too, because they would be in the battlefield. Oh, Doc, can you come out to the field? And he'd say, oh, sure. Crazy guy. The barracks was on the border of Cambodia, so every night they would be lobbing missiles over into Vietnam. But when he came back from Vietnam, he just deplored war. It was so stupid.
Yeah.
And they gave him a Green Beret because he was so nice to them. But my son says, I didn't even get a Green Beret. But he was very much opposed to war, period. And he communicated with Ted Kennedy about that. They had a letter writing thing with each other. So he was very anti-war war of any kind. And I think anyone who's been in war probably feels that way. I don't know anybody who comes home and says, gee, that was great.
There is a small percentage of people that come home and well, it depends. So being in the Air Force generally, so I think for most people, you don't actually see combat. You're not out patrolling. You're not interacting with civilians in that way. Most of us are on base. So the Air Force, I think, generally has a different view. When you talk to people about deploying or serving overseas, you're on base. You have gyms. You worry about what the food's going to be like at chow that day.
So it's like you never left home.
It's almost like you never left home. You got put up. It would be no different than training over here. So any training exercise we did, we had to go somewhere in a remote area. You get put up in a hotel, or you go eat at these barracks somewhere, and you're like, it's almost the same. But
oh dear,
the extended period of time is away, so you're insulated from that. So most of the people I hear, veterans against war, veterans for peace, typically they were put in combat, and they can't believe what they were doing.
My son was in combat. His Jeep blew up under him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where was this?
Iraq.
It was in Iraq.
He was in Syria also.
Yeah.
Now you're hearing all this.
Yeah.
What's happening
and that's
in
been
Syria.
going on.
Isn't it wonderful? There's been a revolt and people have taken over. I think that's going to happen in Russia too. I don't think the Russians are happy with their leader.
They might not be. I don't.
Their young men are dying. in combat. How many thousands now?
A lot.
Okay,
A
so
lot.
you're a mother of a boy who goes to Ukraine to kill those people,
Yeah.
and you die.
The
So how happy could they be in Russia?
if the, you know what, if they found it, I imagine if they found it, it was in the service of a noble cause. They don't have, and that's the whole
But
thing.
it isn't in the service of a noble cause.
But it depends on the parent, right? It's up to it's noble until it isn't, and that's what. So like a good example is, I don't know Pat Tillman's story in depth. I know a little bit. Pat Tillman, he was the retired, or he didn't retire. He's 9/11 happens. He joins. He goes U.S. Special Forces. He played for the Cardinals. He kissed goodbye his career in the NFL to go serve.
Oh yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it was fine, and his family supported him, and they support him all through it. But after what happened, after he was killed, when he came home, and then the lies that came out, then all of it became like, how could you do this to us? How could you do this to any American? How could you send us? Because what was seen as a noble war was no longer a noble war. So it had the support, the family support, until he was put in it. And it says, okay, so where is there a noble war? Where is one that's defending a cause that is actually where you can be called upon and serve, and you can go experience and feel like, no, we needed to be here. This was the job we were meant to do. And it was exactly how we were told it was.
Well, I think Ukraine is noble. I think they've got to defend themselves.
I
mean, they have good reason to be killing killing horrible, but they've got good reason to be fighting.
Russia did invade. They invaded in 2022.
Yeah. How can the Russians think that's noble to go into another country and take it over? How is that noble?
For the Russia-Ukraine war, I do think it goes back to post-Soviet, the fall of the Soviet Union. This was whether or not not 1 inch to the east, the moving the line from West Germany, and then further east, and the provoking. For most of the war, if it falls for me under most of the wars that are started were provocations by the other party, whether it was.
But the Ukrainians weren't bothering the Russians.
No, not the Ukrainians. The civilians don't have anything to do with what the government does. It doesn't matter for any side. There's like the Russian civilians that sign up that are conscripted and forced to fight, right? All the ones that are wasted, and especially in the start of the war, with old equipment just sent to the front lines against essentially NATO-supplied Ukraine. But it's the people, and so the same thing with the civilians in the Ukrainian side. They're thrown up to the front. And that's, well, how much of our State Department has involvement in that? And that's been doing that since I go back to...
my feeling is, and I'm a peace person.
Yeah.
I think we should have gone into Ukraine in the beginning, stopped it. We could do that. We have special forces that do that.
So there were peace...
My son thinks that too.
The peace talks they were already signed early on in the war. About 6 weeks after the war, there was already agreements between Russians and Ukrainians.
There was?
There was, and it was signed. I don't know how far they got into it, but it was sent by Boris Johnson and not Victoria Nuland, but somebody else to squash this because we will have your back. You will win this war. And then the peace was off. But they had peace. They were so close to peace within 6 weeks of the war. But our U.S. State Department, again, and our DOD, again.
What's the DOD?
Our Department of Defense.
Oh, okay.
Lloyd Austin. This is Anthony Sullivan or Tony Blinken. This is again moving these people into a further war. And as the time goes on, it started about the.
Well, what would be the point of us wanting that?
We don't want this.
Oh.
The people, the United States doesn't want this.
Well, who does?
But we talk about our arms manufacturers. You talk about our State Department. You talk about people high up that see a continual crushing of, I don't know, anybody who could be perceived as the enemy. It's these bills that go to Ukraine. much like Israel, they are forced to come back and spend money with our arms manufacturers here. They are, Chris Hedges calls them, the merchants of death.
Chris Hedges?
He's a journalist, long time.
Oh.
He's covered conflicts during the Bosnian War. He covered the conflict in El Salvador. He's covered West Bank and Gaza. He's been speaking so long about what's going on over there, but constantly what these wars are about.
What's his name again?
Chris Hedges, Christopher Hedges.
And how is he? What does he do?
He's a journalist, but he coined them the merchants of death, and this is more handouts for our merchants. And I say that as Smedley Butler, the general, World War I don't know if he was in World War I, but he was participating in the Spanish-American War and what he was doing in the Central America. Mm. And he came out and he was talking. I think he died by 1938 at this point, but he's one of the most decorated soldiers in U.S. history, 4-star general, and he was talking about us goading Japan into attacking us. He was talking about how all these merchants, because by the time he got out and realized what was going on, he's like, no, he works for the corporations that sell arms. He works for everybody who makes money and profits, what used to be called war profiteering. Mm-hmm. Is he is actually helping them to create conflicts around the world, so they can make money. And as I said in that article, was like, no, they will fund one side or both sides all the way to the end, and then they'll find a new one to start it so they can continue manufacturing. Just as when you hear now that if we were to cut off weapon shipments to Israel, there are congressmen and women that will speak up and say, you are going to take away jobs and foods out of the mouths of people that work in my arms manufacturing district, and I won't have that because now you're going to take away the job because these people at this company, if they can't sell these weapons to Israel to do what they're doing, they won't say, that's not the part that's said, but if they can't sell these weapons, you're going to put these people out of a job, and I won't have that in my district.
Yipes.
So where am I going with that? We started with the Ukraine aspect with the merchants of death, as Chris Hedges had coined. That's what I believe I first heard that.
Now, what was the peace agreement about that they had?
The end of hostilities. This was early on.
What was the payoff? What were they going to get out of it?
I believe Crimea was still to be retained with Russia. I don't know if they had the annexation of the Donetsk regions.
So who agreed to it?
This was members of the Ukrainian government and the Russian Federation. And this was agreed to until Boris Johnson was sent to sabotage the deal. Victoria Nuland talks about it now, is that it wasn't a good enough deal. We got to put the peace off.
Well, Eisenhower was probably the first one to say, beware the military-industrial complex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The constant selling us.
But you got to think that World War II was justifiable. We went in to save people from Hitler.
Oh, yeah.
That was a justifiable war, I think.
Yes, I'm saying, but how we got into it. When I brought up the goading Japan into war, when Smedley Butler wrote about that, that was a couple of years before it happened. And he was a 4-star general. He was the most highly decorated American serviceman, I think, in history. And he came out and he was giving speeches. I don't know what position he was running for in government, but he said, we are currently under economic sanctions and trade limitations. We are goading to Japan to do something to us so we can get the provocation so that they will attack us, and then we can get into this war.
Wow.
It's out there in his talk.
That's a conspiracy theory, though, isn't it?
He wrote it. So you can, if you look, if I send you a link or if I show you, I say, this is what Smedley Butler was writing.
Now, who's Smedley Butler?
This is the general, the 4-star, the highly.
Okay. This
is the one that said this is a racket. And he wrote the book, The War is a Racket. And he was giving speeches. He said, we are goading Japan. But this is the goading. Brings us to the Gulf of Tonkin. This brings us to WMDs in Iraq. This brings it, that Saddam Hussein is working with Osama bin Laden. And he might give him some chemical weapons, that we have to go to Iraq. This is the constant provocation that we feel like we're being attacked, that we have to go to war to defend our freedoms, and then afterwards, what are we left with?
A lot of injured sons.
Yeah.
And daughters, I guess, too, now.
Yeah.
And if you come back with a physical handicap, that's terrible enough, but I don't think anybody comes back mentally okay, because they tell us in Sunday school, thou shalt not kill. Then they give you a gun and say, go kill those people who aren't like you.
Yeah.
That's got to be crazy.
No, it's...
In somebody's mind.
That is...
Unless they're defending their country.
But it's like, that's always the thing, is we're going in for our defense. Well, our defense is around the world now. We're defending ourselves no matter where we are. Mm-hmm. We're defending ourselves in the South China Sea. We're going to go, because we're going to do a war with China over Taiwan. So our defense is now when we talk about, we're doing it in our self-defense, no, it's interest. This is more empire stuff. This is not self-defense. There's no attack on our borders. But we're always in self-defense, defending ourselves. In Ukraine, we have to get involved. I'm saying U.S. troops getting involved, which is always a possibility. Mm-hmm. Or U.S. troops getting involved with Iran, defending ourselves because Israel's us? Because an attack on Israel is an attack on us? An attack on Ukraine is an attack on us? An attack on Taiwan is an attack on us?
I would think that
we have corporate
anybody
interests.
Being attacked and hurts everybody.
Yes, but to go out and wage war and these people to profiteer from war, there's a thing to go sign. You can sign up as a foreign legion and go fight if you feel it's your cause. Mm-hmm. But to bring our troops there and to spend the money and enrich individuals that are in these corporations is a whole other thing, because these people make money on this. But they're willing to sacrifice all of us to make money because it's an attack on us. So why bring the fight there instead of here? Well, there's always that threat. There's always that enemy that's there that we have to go take care of so it doesn't come here. That's always the case. And so the Ukrainian thing, now it starts off, we've got to defend their freedom and it's an unprovoked attack, and now they have minerals and we don't want Russian to hands. Or this is the cheapest way the Americans can have it, that we weaken Russia's economy. We weaken their military. Okay, that's a totally different picture than if we're defending their freedoms. This is a proxy war with Russia? It doesn't...
Look, if your friend falls down, you go pick him up. That's what we're doing in Ukraine.
To what, when they keep lowering the age limits to send more troops to the front line to win a war they can't win?
Who's doing that?
Well, Zelensky, I don't know if he's actually the legal president right now, but when Blinken just went and he asked them to drop the age to 18 to send more troops.
To what?
Drop the age, the conscription limit, or conscription age to 18, because I think it's 25 right now. Just keep sending more troops to the front line. And I don't know if it was Lloyd Austin that's...
What do you want them to do in Ukraine? They're being attacked.
To negotiate, the whole thing is to negotiate a peace, and they did do that. They did do that in the beginning.
Well, Russia wants part of their country.
They did.
They don't want to give it up. Why should they? For the eastern region? But this goes back to 2014. And before that, 2014, there's been I think the death toll between the civil war that was happening in Ukraine from 2014 up to the invasion was over 14,000. They were already fighting. There was proxy groups on the Russian side in the Donetsk region fighting Ukrainian forces. But the entire time we were arming them. We were always arming them. Even when... So you would say we should not have gone into the Second World War?
No, I didn't say that. We should have gone in
sooner than we did.
I didn't say we shouldn't go into the Second World War. I'm just saying to go Japan into attacking us, not knowing how it was going to happen, but I'm just saying goading people into attacking to be the first aggressor is not to get the moral support of the populace to support us to go somewhere and fight something, and it turns out that really wasn't right. Like the Gulf of Tonkin incident, the one that got the moral support of the people. Because as it generally says, without the moral support of the people, you can't bring the nation to war. You need the aggressor on the other side. This goes to Fort Sumter in South Carolina for the Civil War. What led into the Civil War with the...
Is it true that more people died in the Civil War than all the wars since?
I think Civil War was 650,000 casualties, deaths. from both
Ken
sides, so
Burns
everybody
did
all
a
around.
beautiful documentary about the Civil War.
Who is this?
Ken Burns
Ken, I know
was
the
on
name.
TV, which you don't watch anymore.
I
You
don't.
should be watching PBS.
PBS?
Yes.
Well,
You
I'll have
should
to
watch it. It's,
Okay.
yeah.
Ken Burns. Okay.
Yeah, he's done an awful lot of wonderful documentaries on country music, Muhammad Ali, what else? Our national parks. It's a
Okay.
beautiful, beautiful job.
Okay. I know the name, but I don't.
But
Without a TV, I wouldn't.
some of the, yeah, well, you got to start watching TV. Stop using just a silly phone, because you're getting a lot of stuff that's not true on that
Okay.
social media, right?
No, and I have to be careful. And I am wrong. There are times I'm wrong. I'm like, oh, you know what? That was not a good source. That was not a good source, and I have to constantly check myself.
I think a lot of people were brainwashed through social media.
Yeah, it's really easy to take things for if you think if you think what you have is a credible source, and that's hard because we have what we believe because we're not there to experience these things, and we have to get it from somewhere, and they have to be what we feel are trusted sources, wherever that comes from. And it's if you feel like you had a trusted source on something and it turns out to be wrong, it's okay, well, what did I miss about that? What about that subject from that source? If they're usually good on other things, but they missed on this, what's the issue?
Well, I have a lot of faith in our journalists and newspaper people, and I think they're in trouble right now with Donald Trump taking over because he doesn't
Yeah.
like them much.
Yeah, a lot of people have been saying, yeah, I can see that.
So I think that's our fifth. What is it? The three. The Congress and the Senate and the three branches of government.
Yeah.
Okay, but the fourth branch of most gives the most influence is the journalist, is the people who write about things like Watergate.
Yeah.
People that and even if Vietnam War.
Yeah, the Pentagon Papers, Ellsberg,
Yes.
right? Revealing all of that.
Yeah.
And it's necessary. So
So we do get the truth.
we do, and sometimes it takes a while for it to come out.
But who knows what the truth is? I mean,
There's so much
so
to sift through.
subjective.
It's so much to sift through, and it depends. I guess it depends on the point. I guess it depends on the subject and what particular aspect of it.
So what do you tell me? What do the vets against peaceful vets for peace? What do you do? What have you done, and how are you lobbying for peace?
It's still new, so this is new because
Who started it?
Who started Vets for? I have no idea.
Okay.
Will Thomas is someone I've met in person. Will Hopkins I met in person. They're both the directors for New Hampshire for Peace. It's a small group. There's a very small. We'd like the location to meet and grow, expand the group because the main thing is to organize. If you can educate, if you can participate in vigiling. I've been able to attend one, but it's rather difficult. A lot of people are older. A lot of the vets for peace are in the older generation,
Are
the
they?
Vietnam War. They're retired, so
yeah, Vietnam War.
a lot of vigils happen during the day. I can't make those. If I can do it at night or maybe on the
Where
weekends.
do you vigil?
Well, I've only done it once in Manchester.
Where?
This is outside of
Manchester.
City Hall.
Oh.
But the state building, and it's hard.
And what do you say when you vigil? What's your purpose?
Nothing. Did we have
No, you have
signs?
signs?
We have signs.
That say?
So this particular one's for Gaza. So I went out for Gaza, Will, Thomas, and I, and we're outside Chris Pappas' office, the representative, District 1. I forget what sign. He had given me a sign that day, but end the war, end the violence. He might have had a free Palestine. But no bombs for Israel, things of that nature. It was all stop the carnage
Yeah.
because we were just supplying more carnage. It is just endless,
We're paying for those bombs that
And we
drop
are-
on those people.
and we are paying
Poor
for
little
that.
kids and mothers and grandmothers and
there's something of, I think it's always been the case, and it looks like it's changing because of social media, that the footages.
Well, I think we stopped the Vietnam War by protesting.
Yeah. It took a
did.
critical
Stopped
mass.
it. And I think we're going to have to stop Netanyahu from bombing the hell out of everybody by protesting.
Yeah.
Sending our weapons to Israel so they can bomb. Now it's what? They're bombing. What's the country they're bombing now?
Lebanon.
Lebanon.
Yeah. They extended to Lebanon.
They're going crazy.
And they were openly.
I can't believe the Jewish people in Israel, the Jewish people who have suffered for so long, been discriminated against, killed in World War II. I can't believe the people approve of this. I don't think they do.
There was, I forgot his name. Jeez. No. The disregard for civilian casualties. Yeah. The utter that's not something that's foreign here. That's something that we have concerns when they've toured Iraq, when they had served in Iraq, or civilians who served in Iraq, the stories that come out, the disregard for civilian casualties, or Afghanistan, the amount of civilian casualties. I think the conservative estimate out of Iraq was 230,000 people had died from our invasion. From the period of the invasion, defeating the army, and then into the occupation.
So you think that was a war crime going to Iraq?
Yeah, that was entirely illegal. That was illegal moral crime. You lied to us and you made it up and you fabricated it. I mean, it took multiple efforts. Rumsfeld, there was Cheney, there was Bush, there was Colin Powell, all the lies that had for this.
He apologized, by the way. Colin Powell did apologize for going into Iraq.
Did he?
Yes.
I never saw it.
On TV.
Did he? I never saw it.
In Congress, he went before Congress and said, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. We should never have gone in there.
I've heard
I have liked
Colonel
him ever since.
Larry Wilkerson, do you know the name?
No.
He was undersecretary, so he was under Colin Powell during that time. But he revealed a lot of things that were going on behind the scenes there, and the politics, how they were at each other. What was it called? The evil. There was some name for Rumsfeld and Cheney and how they were working together, and it was against Condoleezza Rice and Colin Powell, and Bush is kind of off to the side. He's not really the person behind this, but he's the person who'll get up there and lie to us about all of this.
Well, yeah. I think Biden has told Netanyahu, don't make the same mistake we made after 9/11, which is what he did. He's making the same mistake we made by going into a country that didn't have anything to do with it, with 9/11. They were Saudi Arabians.
Yeah,
and
that's the thing about Afghanistan. 0 of the 19 hijackers were Afghanis. But Osama bin Laden was hiding somewhere in, I think it was mostly Pakistan, but was our U.S. ally. But we go to Afghanistan to get rid of him. And it was like 6 to 8 months later, does Bush get caught on TV saying, after he's given up the search for Osama bin Laden, it's like 6 months, he's in 2002, he said, Osama's not the one we're after. He's off, he can't do anything, we've destroyed his training camps, we've got other terrorists to fight. The guy we invaded the country for, I don't know what the estimates for civilian deaths are.
When they got him and killed him, I thought that was horrible.
It was 2010?
It's not nice to kill anybody, even him. And they made a big deal of it. They were all watching the television when it happened. You remember that?
Vaguely.
Hillary Clinton was there and Obama when they killed.
It was 2010, right? It was 2010 when they finally killed him?
I don't know.
If Obama was president, it was at least 2008.
Yeah. And they were so thrilled that they had killed him. And I don't know, even if it's the devil, killing people is not a good idea.
Yeah. There should have been a trial. He should have been held. It should have been a public trial. Yeah. We should have seen it. We had one for Saddam. Bit of a sham because we were so.
That poor guy wasn't he in a hole in the ground? They found him.
Yeah, something. Yeah, I forget what year it was, but
dictators are all awful.
Yeah, and we propped him up through the 80s to fight Iran. They don't have a problem with. They keep installing.
Oh dear.
Huh?
I said, oh dear.
They have no problem, and I say they. We have people in the State Department or sometimes in the Pentagon, but people who make high positions in the administrations, and they prop up these people like Saddam to overthrow because, what was it, all the stands after the not Soviet Union, but in the declining Soviet influence in the Middle East, we stepped in, we helped install Saddam Hussein. We helped him because the Iranians had their revolution in '79. Before that, I believe
They need to have another one, Iranians.
It seems.
It's always the people that will eventually revolt, like Syria. They couldn't stand it anymore. And like Cuba, Castro and his fellow rebels overran Batista, who was a terrible person, who was a dictator.
Yeah.
And in cahoots with America and the mafia, that was very well known. And the poor people in Cuba were kind of helpless to do anything. And I don't know.
The UN.
Fidel Castro was a big hero when he did that in America. I remember him coming here, going to Harvard Yard in a limousine, waving to everybody. He was a big hero until all of a sudden he was, he's communist. He's a terrible person.
Yeah, that was part of.
No,
that was.
He did a good thing. He overthrew a terrible regime.
And we haven't lifted sanctions on Cuba.
What?
We still have yet to lift sanctions on Cuba.
I thought Obama did.
No, it's still, they just passed again, they tried again, and I believe it was Israel and the United States still refused to. And not only do we say these countries are terrible because they have these dictators, but we put economic pressure on, we put sanction on them so they can't trade. And all it does is hurt the people of those countries so that that life will be so bad for, say, you or I living in that country that we would go to violent means to overthrow our government. But the whole thing is them so when they say, you'll hear it on some TV, maybe, not having TV, but you will hear it.
You've got to get a TV.
we have TV, but.
Yeah, you've got to watch it. I don't trust social media because, I have friends who voted for Trump and they tell me all these things that seem so bizarre. But even I have a friend in Brazil. He says the same things that my friend in America says about everything.
It depends on what social media, because most of the stuff we rely on for video footage comes out of Gaza is social media. No matter how much they cut the cellular service, but that comes back. The doctor's testimonies, the pictures that they have, the video. That's
on
all.
TV too.
But the footage comes from people's phones. It comes out of social media. It comes to us, and it depends, because anybody with a channel, anybody can create a channel, and then all of a sudden they have a social media page. But who is that person? And what are they putting out? What's the context of it?
So I think I told you that Senator Jean Serino, does not want us to be sending weapons to kill people in Gaza.
She did vote.
Yeah.
She did vote. She sided with Bernie. I'm told it is historic.
What's strange about that is she's on the committee for arms and war and stuff. As a matter of fact, a lot of arms places in New Hampshire are because of her. So I don't know what to say.
She did vote for it.
Yeah.
Hassan did not.
Yeah. Well.
She voted for it. Bernie put it out. The conditions on the ground have not changed since the beginning. It's only gotten worse. It's only piled up more and more. And the reason before we started.
It's a land grab, isn't it?
It is a land grab. They're already ethnically cleansing the north. The settlers are already, there's a couple leaders, they're grabbing their groups. They are going to settle.
They've been doing that for years, though.
They're going to settle northern Gaza. That's already been a thing. That's why that whole, when was it?
I wonder who's going to pay to repair Gaza. It's just rubble.
Probably.
What are they going home for?
Well, so it's already confirmed. It's potentially you could get a job doing it, but they already have private companies in there with their Caterpillar bulldozers moving the rubble around to make room for settlement.
Oh dear.
You find it, but you can see it. You can find
Do you
images.
think the nature of man is such that he needs to war?
No, not the general populace. Most of
don't
us
think so?
want to get along. Most of us want to be able to live our lives as is. But there are those above us in the administrations that have other nefarious means.
Well, I can't agree with you about World War II. I think the people who died on D-Day, heroes.
I didn't say that.
Yeah. Well,
No, I'm saying as far as goading Japan into attacking us, that's all. I'm saying with Theodore Roosevelt.
I've heard that conspiracy before. I don't know if it's true.
He didn't. I'm not saying he knew where it was going to happen. I'm just saying you have to have if you're going to go to war, you have to have the other side attack you, because you won't have the moral sympathy of us to back you. Gulf of Tonkin, Fort Sumter for Civil War, no.
I have friends who are working very hard for Ukraine, and they were attacked.
Yeah.
They need to defend themselves.
They do.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just
so
saying.
we need to send them weapons, I'm sorry.
Not to every last Ukrainian. That's a whole generation of men that are being wiped out. Their losses, I'm pretty sure, over 400,000 now.
Yeah, but it seems that they do want, even older men want to
They want a
defend
peace.
their country.
And it's noble that your friends that are helping to help support Ukraine. But we have people that are just want this to continue. They don't see an end. They don't see a victory in this. They say that for us to continue supporting it because nobody wants to support a losing war. That's always the thing through Iraq and Afghanistan is like, are we winning or are we losing this? Continue. It's the whole thing with the Pentagon Papers.
War is insanity, that's for sure.
For the Vietnam War, it was, why are we going to support something we're losing? No, we're always winning. We're always winning. The Tet Offensive, we're always winning. Because if we found out we were losing and we were continuing it, then you'll lose the public support. They might actually get out in the streets, and we did. It was after the Pentagon Papers, but we did. And then so you have, I say we as if I was there, but not until a critical mass of people are out and it's like, okay, this is pretty bad. Most people are out of the streets. Most people have gone away from their job or spending time with their family or their hobbies to get out and protest and say, we won't have any more of this. We won't accept this anymore.
I told you, I think, on the phone that I went to jail.
Yeah.
Protesting the war in Vietnam with John Kerry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is. This was in Keene?
Huh?
This was in Keene?
No, this was in Concord.
Concord.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We were on the Concord Green, and we were going to stay there until they listened to us.
What year was this?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm curious how
I'm not good
long.
at math.
No.
I was maybe 20, 27, 28.
Okay.
So, a few years ago. A long time ago. Over 50 years ago.
And he had that on his resume.
What?
Kerry. He had that on his resume. Did he use that when he first got in office? That he got arrested?
Well, he was protesting. He was probably the first one.
Okay.
He was a soldier. He came back. He took off his medals and threw them away. Said, "This is an unjustifiable war. It's crazy. We're killing people, and there's no reason because they're communists. Ooh, so what? You know, let them be who they want to be.
Yeah.
They're not bad people because they believe in communism.
No. So
They're just a different belief."
But our administration, wasn't the thing of the domino effect that we couldn't let Vietnam fall? But that's administration that we have no control over. These are unelected people that sit way above, that have power, that have other agendas, and they drag us into it.
So that's why I feel that it's got to be the population that says, basta, enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is usually.
And the thing is, and I think it needs for people to get out there, it has to be personal for them why they go out and they protest it. And that usually takes a real calamity, because it's not until, as I wrote in the thing, it's not until you experience, even on the home front, until you experience what it's like to be in a war, you're like, I don't know if this is worth it. I'm going to go say something. I have to get out there.
There's a beautiful movie called Born on the 4th of July.
Okay.
With Tom Cruise.
Okay. Born on the 4th of July.
What?
I don't.
He was born on the 4th of July and went into the service, all good good feelings. His family wanted him to, and he lost both legs. He was paralyzed from the waist down, and the whole movie is about him and coming back and attending the Democratic Convention of 1968 and speaking at it after being really abused by the services and everything else. Even his parents, even his mother was a pain in the neck because he was so furious about what had happened to him.
Yeah.
And he was more furious about the fact that they had been killing babies.
Yeah.
And how do you live with that? How do you live with that? You have to do so many good things to get over that, I think. I don't know.
If you ever can, yeah.
I don't know how you ever justify that you did that. But I know from my friend Jimmy, who was in Vietnam, he said that the pot was $3 a pound for a great big bunch. You could get cocaine and heroin easily. That's in Vietnam.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, so they're always kind of not in their right minds. And the more body bags they had at the end of the day, the more they could go to Japan or someplace and wonderful hotels and lots of money in their pockets. You know.
And you can't do that. You couldn't participate. Most people don't want to hurt others. They have to be demonized, and that doesn't come from goodwill of people above us. It's that enemy. It's that monster who wants to end our way of life that's attacking
But there are no people above us. We have the power. We citizens, people of the world,
we do.
In every country, we have the power to stop that stuff.
We do.
Yeah.
That's the thing we do. We have to participate.
Mm-hmm.
It was a passage. It was a letter Thomas Jefferson had written to somebody, another, I imagine, a member, not of the cabinet. This is in 1787, and it was like the paraphrase, because I can't recall the whole quote, was that if the people aren't active in the democracy, if we're not active, he said that those like him and him would become wolves. And he fears maybe it's just in the law, it's in our nature, that if we don't hold them in a democracy, if we don't hold our elected officials accountable, then they will become, in this case, wolves, or you pick a better term, but selfish and power hungry and glory, and less of us, like how many people vote? I mean, there was probably an upshot in votes this past election, but how many of us are actually involved in the political process? And as less and less are, well, the corporations have a lot of money. There's a lot of lobbying power. There's a lot of money to be spent. And why is any candidate going to be beholden to me or 1,000 of me with $5 to give? When you have one corporation or super PACs, which I heard Maine is actually making some leeway and get rid of that. Something I've heard. Maine getting rid of super PACs, because that's really gotten out of control with the spending. Yeah. The amount of the billions that were spent in this last campaign, by both parties, there would need to be millions of us to be out there to compete with that.
Brazil, they fine you if you don't vote.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a democracy.
Yeah.
Now they have a good leader, Lulu. They had a terrible Baldessaro.
Okay.
Tried to do a coup, like Donald Trump's. He lost the election. He tried to say he didn't.
Okay.
And they went into their building, parliamentary, or I don't know what they are, where their politicians are, and they tried to the same thing that happened on the 6th of January.
Okay.
They tried to overthrow the elections in Brazil too, but they weren't able to, and now Baldessaro's out of the country. He's not allowed to come back into Brazil.
Okay.
Yeah, cool, huh?
That is, I know, it's totally out of my wheelhouse. I don't know anything about Brazil.
Well, we're all the same. All these countries are the same, aren't they?
I hope it was Yeah, there are remarkable similarities
Yeah.
with what goes on when people are out and want to protest something or do something to change what's going on. When you're out in this, if the life of you and your community is bad enough that you're all out, whether it's peaceful or violent, there needs to be some real structural changes in your governance.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help, when you have nations like the U.S., when you put the weight on it with sanctions and you're pressing down on the people to make them do something because you don't like a leader.
Well, we put sanctions on Russia. Isn't that a good idea?
The aim of the sanctions to make the whole point of sanctions, it doesn't hurt those people. I'm sorry, it doesn't hurt the people in charge, the administration. No, what it hurts is the average person, because they can't trade. And like, say, for instance, if you don't have access to dollars, and it's the global, not reserve currency, but it's the global trading currency, okay, average people have a difficult time trading internationally. Then it puts stress on logistics, supplies, doing commerce. And if it makes it your life bad enough that maybe your job disappears or you can't pay bills, that, we need to change something here, and maybe we'll overthrow our government. But it's the same thing in Russia. The hope was for Venezuela or Cuba or Iran, because Iran sanctions have been on since 80, 81, where we're trying to crush them economically. I
thought Obama had made a pretty good deal with Iran.
He made a good deal. There was a non-nuclearization treaty that we had with them for some time that was good, that we backed out of.
Yeah.
We backed out of under Trump.
Did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because with the treaty, it puts a cap on what could be developed.
Yeah.
And when you take it off, well, you let escalations fly.
What a mess.
But
you see how the people in Iran, the women especially, have been revolting?
Yeah,
and
it is repressive.
They're being killed.
It is repressive.
Yeah. They are going to do the same thing the Syrians did. They're going to have to revolt, I think.
They may, but we are trying to make that happen by hurting. We are also economically hurting them. If we made it so that imagine if you're in a.
We weren't under Obama.
No, we were always. The sanctions have always been there. Every enemy of the United States has sanctions on them. Whether it's you can't say that North Korea, look how bad they are, while also making it impossible for them to trade. Making it impossible for them to trade or gain common goods. This is what we did to Iraq after the first Gulf War. That's why when Madeleine Albright in '96, that famous interview, the infamous interview that she gives, that I forget the lady from 60 Minutes, she said an estimated 500,000 children have died because of our sanctions on Iraq. And she asked Madeleine Albright, was it worth it to show Saddam who's boss? And Madeleine Albright, who later said that she regrets saying that, she said, yeah, it was worth the price.
Oh.
But the idea behind...
It's your child.
Yeah, but the idea behind the sanctions is to make life so bad for the people in that country that they do physically, violently try to overthrow their governments. It does not actually, and that's the only way it hurts in this case, Russian Federation with the thousands of sanctions, is it was an attempt to try to have the people's lives so miserable that they get together and overthrow him. That hurts them, and it almost never works. The people in Iran, they can't do free commerce.
So I guess the solution is to make friends of your enemies, of people who disagree with you. Our trading with China is a wonderful thing because we need each other. If we put sanctions on China, or if we tariff every single thing that they send us, my God, everything's made in China. What a mess.
It is. It only helps escalate and gives opportunities for war. And
we should be friendly with China.
Oh yeah, average, you and I and most people want to be friends.
Those horrible Chinese. Well, they're doing much better than they were. The Chinese. There's no more opium. There's no more poverty. Whatever they're doing to become a world power and to be civilians, peaceful civilians. Whatever they're doing is working.
We help them.
We should not say that, well, you're wrong because you're a communist.
we help them. One of the first ones was NAFTA. Bill Clinton signed into agreement that was offshoring a lot of our production over there. That helped them industrialize at a rapid pace. That was good. The negatives was the loss of jobs here. A lot of people are really bitter about what used to be manufactured here, and now introducing tariffs and on these products or bans of any products. Well, we offshore. Most things come from China. Now, we're moving away from that because you also can't have a war with a country you're interchanged with like that. You have to decouple. And so the first steps is we have to get things out of it. We have to actually separate them to a degree that we feel comfortable going to war, because we haven't. And we have,
Well, I want to, my handy dandy New Testament here, that I kind of swiped from a hotel. My friend Jesus says something about
Don't worry, it's not a New Hampshire hotel.
Yes, it is. Well, he says, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons. Well, they say sons in this Bible, but the children of God.
Yeah, believers in Christ.
So we have to be peacemakers, all of us.
Yeah, and we have to call for peace, and our elected, unelected officials who are calling for war, these are all supposed Christians waging war with everybody they don't like. They aren't calling for peace.
It's the
If they are, it's for us. They're giving it to us. It's like when Netanyahu talks to his people in Hebrew, and then he talks to us in America and in English. And he speaks to the people of America because he wants to know that we support him. So he'll give us one message after he gives another message to his people. They're not the same. You go read the Haaretz or Times of Israel, you read...
But there are peace groups in Israel.
There are. There are people that can't believe what's going on. You're destroying it. It has become the most unsafe place for Jews in the world.
Yeah, I think if he goes to be reelected again, he won't be reelected again.
I'm pretty sure his trial is ongoing right now about his corruption charges.
Yeah, it is.
And he's,
how the mighty have fallen.
He's up there for corruption. He's not up there for anything that's going on in Gaza.
Yeah, well, he's considered a war criminal by most of the countries in Europe. He can't go anywhere.
By most of us,
can't even go to South Africa.
Most of us do not agree with what's going on, but that is not our administration. That's not Matt Miller of the State Department spokesman every day giving political cover to what Israel does in Gaza. That's not,
I think,
Kirby.
When we turned back the Jews coming to America, when we turned them back, and even the children boats, I think that guilt is still in America. So a lot of sympathy for Jews.
Yeah.
Because of that.
But there's got to be a distinction, because it's to criticize what Israel's doing in Gaza, the government, the IDF, the head, so Netanyahu, Gallant,
What's the IDF?
Gallant, Israel Defense Forces, the Defense Forces.
Okay.
That's not to say there's nothing against Judaism. You're criticizing
that's a crock.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. You can criticize the actions. You can criticize what our government was doing for Iraq, what we were doing in Iraq, but still approve or still honor the veterans who come home that served in Iraq. You could criticize. Because what the government wants, or these officials higher up in the government want, is different. So, for example, I wrote it in the piece that hasn't gone out yet.
Which piece?
The letter I just recently wrote. I'm waiting to see it go up in the Union.
Oh, okay.
If it does. But Secretary of State Anthony Blinken back in May testified before Congress that Israel was allowing enough humanitarian aid to get through. He testified before Congress. He had 2 State Department reports come out. His State Department, 2 reports came out. One from USAID, United States Organization International Development, and his Bureau of Refugees and Immigration. Both of them came out with reports separately that found that Israel is not adequately supplying humanitarian. And I say supplying it's not coming from them. They're allowing it to get through. But they're blocking aid, they're destroying aid, they're turning trucks around, they're killing aid workers.
Excuse me, on television we're hearing that is the case. We hear that's true. They're not even letting the aid get in.
We hear it, and it just depends how much, because the people that support this say, well, there's 59,000 trucks have gone through. Well, when you do the math and how much is supposed to be going through per day, it's well below what's necessary for the because they're all refugees.
That wonderful guy, the cook.
Yeah, that just happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you see his car. You saw what he was bombed in. It's World Central Kitchen. And
yeah.
And
It's
and so,
amazing. It's
but the
amazing to me.
spokespeople for our administration say, well, we'll let Israel investigate itself. Well, they've been saying that since the start. Let them investigate themselves. Let them investigate themselves. But make sure the money flows.
I think the worm is turning.
Yeah.
I think even our government is beginning to, or they're saying, listen, ceasefire, that's it.
Well, whether it was Biden or Harris, even after losing the election, they've had the opportunity to, because supposedly this was to cater voters to keep support, because how many people who support Israel voted for Harris in this past election? But her not terminating, or Biden terminating, or putting up that we need a ceasefire or ending aid unless humanitarian efforts improve.
Well, he has said that.
But the aid goes on and
several times.
But the aid continues. He says it. He does say it. But the aid continues. Military aid flows. It gets signed in. And what I'm saying about Anthony Blinken, the opportunity, because we talked about Shaheen and Hassan's vote on the JRDs.
Say that. What are the JRDs?
The joint resolution of disapproval for sending weapons. The three bills that Bernie Sanders sent for specific pieces of equipment that are tied to war crimes committed by Israel. There were the 120 millimeter tank rounds. There was JDAMs, those guidance kits, and there was some other munition I don't recall. But they're all tied specific cases where war crimes were committed that need investigating. So he finally felt like he could propose this bill. It'd been in the works. And my point with bringing up Anthony Blinken is he testifies. He's the Secretary of State. Mm-hmm. His department finds that Israel has not been getting adequate aid, allowing adequate aid to enter Gaza.
Oh yeah.
But his report said otherwise, and he lied before Congress. And this was in May. It came out. Huh?
Anthony Blinken. Gee, I like him.
He lied before Congress because his reports, because it was leaked after, his reports say no. The USAID reports and the Bureau of Refugees both put out reports that said Israel is not giving adequate aid. This is in violation of U.S. law.
Those people are starving.
And multiple people have resigned from their positions that were in those departments because Blinken lied. And he lied. And then he gives a 30-day notice to say improve humanitarian aid. It doesn't improve for the month of October. And nothing's happening. It continues. Mm. Nothing's changed. And they just keep moving.
One of the reasons Kamala Harris didn't win was because of the Muslims and Arabs in the states that were the pivotal states. She lost
that district in Michigan. She lost some districts in Michigan. Jill Stein won because Jill Stein was the only one that said ceasefire now, end it. Because it's felt like most of us that she's just saying we're going to get a ceasefire. But she's been saying that, but there's no stopping to it. They're allowing us to hear her say that we want a ceasefire. But there's no changes.
I don't think she could do anything until she became president. And I really think she would have stopped the war.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But she also says that she would not change anything about her stances from Biden's. That was her other key thing before. She wouldn't change a thing.
No, I saw that.
She said that. She said that.
I saw that interview when she was asked. It was on The View. It was a television program in the morning that I kind of like. They're all very liberal women. One of the women asked her, the lawyer Sonny Hudson, asked her, what would you have done differently from Biden?
Yeah.
What was she going to do? Throw him under the bus?
But you can differentiate. One of the questions was Al Gore, when he was vice president for Bill Clinton, said he would do certain things differently. He could say, I would have an end to this. And she may have actually gained support because some of us wouldn't vote for her unless she actually called for a ceasefire. But she doesn't. Or if she does, it's not meaningful. It continues on. It's like this isn't going to change things. Nobody felt for the groups that felt like she wasn't representing them, the ones that voted for Jill Stein, they felt like, no, she's okay with this. She's been okay with this. And it's tough because
I think a lot of people cut off their nose to spite their face, because she certainly would have been better president than Donald Trump.
It would be, I'll say it's different.
A dead cat would have been a better president.
That's true. That's probably.
What?
No, that's probably true.
You have a cat, don't you?
No.
Oh, thought you had a cat.
No.
Well, you should get one. So what can we do? We have to lobby our representatives. We have to run for office ourselves.
They have to feel the pressure from us, and there's not enough of us. And the only reason why I was able to get into this, so I say so easily, the only reason why I could become active was because all the work has been done before me. All the people, the small amounts of people that have been doing this since the Vietnam War, that have been out there and wanting to see the end of all of this, as far as perpetual war.
What fools we humans be.
And so they felt it's their duty to be out and vigil and protest. And it's not until enough of us actually feel personally connected to the issue that we can't have this, and put pressure on their electeds.
I don't know how anybody watching the war, watching the people in Gaza being killed and their homes destroyed, I don't know how anybody could not sympathize with them. I don't understand.
If they are dehumanized, if they're seen as we accept collateral damage here. Oh, collateral damage.
How do you dehumanize a whole group of people? What do you say about them? That
they're terrorists.
they're terrorists.
They're terrorist sympathizers. They're future terrorists.
Oh.
They're dehumanized, and that's the whole thing. They have to sell us that these people are not worthy of dignity. They're not worthy casualties. Because they highlight when we lose people.
I don't believe that most Americans think that.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that at all.
So I don't think that's working.
No, I didn't say that at all. I said that most of us have to think that these people aren't worthy of the acceptance of civilian casualties. For example, when they bombed Nasrallah in the district in Beirut, when the IDF bombed, the Air Force bombed, they bombed him in a place, and it killed over 300 other people. Right, because they just leveled a square.
Well,
it's like 6 bombings.
They wanted to kill all the people with the little, what were they, walkie-talkies or something?
Oh yeah, that is considered, because they just went off, and it didn't matter who had the phone. It didn't matter how many kids got hurt. It didn't matter where it went off.
Yeah.
It didn't matter what house, or just people just got hurt because they just attacked the pagers, or I think it was mostly pagers.
Yeah.
But that would probably come out later. That was a terrorist attack.
No, it's already come out. They killed a lot of civilians.
No. I'm saying as far as acceptance, general acceptance, though, that was a terrorist attack because you terrorized a population using a cell phone that were like, I don't know what else is rigged, because what came off later? Thermostats also went off. They got into
That's
a line of product and put bombs, little explosives in it.
Well, humanity makes progress, but it's so little.
Yeah, it's maybe small steps.
I mean, I haven't wanted to celebrate Thanksgiving or Christmas or anything because so many people are suffering needlessly, and this is so crazy.
Yeah.
I can't feel happy for America when people in other countries are suffering. And the people that come here as immigrants are coming here as refugees, really.
Yeah,
They wouldn't come if they didn't have to.
I think there's
They're coming from terrible places where they don't have any freedom. And we have a reputation to keep that in America, you have a chance.
Yeah.
And that's what people come here for, because they think they'll have a chance.
Yeah.
And many do, and they work hard. But villainizing the immigrants like Donald Trump is doing, saying that they're criminals and all this baloney, it's baloney, makes people frightened. They want to believe it. I don't think you can believe it because prima facie doesn't make any sense.
You have to be disconnected. You have to not these people are coming here for, I mean, what reasons? They're leaving somewhere where it's not good enough.
On a railroad train or whatever, when they put their children, and had them come, at least they thought the kids could be safe if they. How desperate do you have to be to put your children on a train going into America, on the roofs of trains?
Desperate.
Remember that?
You have to be very desperate.
Yeah. Okay. So that's your child. You don't have anything more than your child. You have to be pretty desperate.
Yeah. And they're villainized. It's a scapegoat because there's real issues here, and it's an easy, that's our problem. It's those people. We could focus on those things. And they scapegoat it. It's not too dissimilar from...
Well, they couldn't do it unless the people believing it already had a predisposition to believe it.
Yeah, there's...
So they were also racists. Excuse me.
That is a thing.
I don't think you can align yourself with Trump and not be a racist or a bigot.
I wouldn't say that for all cases.
Well,
I wouldn't say that for... You can feel like if you, let's say, if you felt like, let's say the word establishment, if you felt like he was an outsider, right, for how he's treated by the rest of them, let's say them, if you felt like he was an outsider and you don't trust him because they haven't done anything for you, whether it's Obama or whether it was Clinton or it was George Bush or it was, and I said that's Bill or Hillary Clinton, or it's Biden, if you felt like all these people have never actually had our back and you're somebody you're willing to throw the dice on because he might do something, it's reckless, but you feel like he might actually do something that might benefit you, but you also despise these people because they say they have your back but they never have, and you just want to try something new because you're desperate. I feel like there's a lot of people that feel that way. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that if you feel like you've always been disenfranchised, that these people don't actually care about us, like a lot of people don't feel like these elected figures in our government actually care about us or want what's best for us, the average American, you'll throw the dice on somebody who you don't know. Or
there are many politicians, senators, Cory Booker, for example, Bernie Sanders, for example, who do care about us and do fight for us.
And for some of us who want to vote for him, he's sold out many times when he's been cheated. Bernie to the Democratic Party.
He didn't sell out.
He did when they cheated him out of 2016 election. When the superdelegates took it away from him.
They thought Biden could win and he couldn't.
But they took it away from him. The party took his chances away because they thought Biden would win overall rather than let Bernie, who was winning, because the DNC, I'm not saying DNC as opposed to RNC, I'm just saying the Democratic Party cheated him out of his votes. They did it with Hillary in 2016. They took it away from him. He won outright. What states was it? I believe it was 2 or 3 states. He won outright over Hillary, but the delegates swung to her because the internal politics of the DNC chose Hillary over him, even though he won, but they wanted Hillary. They chose Hillary.
You're saying evil always wins, and I don't think that's true.
No, I think that we actually, enough of us actually have to be engaged with this for anything to change. And if mostly not engaged, if it's a handful of people that go out and protest, whatever it is, it doesn't really change things.
It's many, many thousands of people who
It
protest.
is, but it's not enough. It's like when you say the Vietnam War, right? The protests, how many people? What percentage of the population was like, this is not okay?
Oh, lots.
But okay, so
it became the majority.
Right. Okay. So and so for
these kids were to return from Vietnam and tell their folks all about it and how awful and stupid it was. And unnecessary. It's unnecessary.
It is unnecessary. So for this to end in Gaza, for this to end in escalations with Iran, potentially, or China, or Russia, the Ukraine-Russian war, most of us aren't doing anything. We feel like we can't, so we don't. Most of us feel like that. I mean, I wasn't even doing anything until I could say...
As one who never gave up on a lost cause,
yeah.
I got to tell you, no, there are plenty of people who are trying really hard
They're just not,
to bring peace on the earth.
no, there are plenty. There's lists of people. There are thousands of people that are doing it. It's just, it's not enough of the population.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we have to stop now. Aren't we out of time? Hello?
I think so.
They're asleep out there.
Yep. No, yeah, you can wrap up whenever you're ready.
What?
You can wrap up whenever you're ready.
Okay, I think we should stop now.
Okay.
But I thank you very much, and your desires for peace are very much appreciated by me, and I'm sure other people, and I'm sure that Veterans for Peace, you were in the service for a long time.
For a bit.
Huh?
For a bit.
What?
A bit.
A bit. Well, long enough. I think that that this organization, if it gains broad,
Yeah.
approval, if a lot of veterans, and I'm sure a lot of Vietnam veterans are with you, right?
Yeah, it's mostly Vietnam vets.
Yeah.
And the thing for me is I didn't know they existed till 3 or 4 months ago.
Oh my God.
I didn't know
Where
that
have you been?
I know. Well, that's what I'm saying is I wasn't involved because, and one of the things I hold, and I'm like, I've never followed this, is that the war machine doesn't care what you think about it, but it does care what you might do about it. And the protesting is doing something. The writing to the letters is doing something. Vigiling is doing something. Voting and advocating and organizing.
We're now about to celebrate the birth of what some people believe is Christ. God, a very wonderful prophet, Jesus, who said, "Blessed are the peacemakers." His beatitudes are wonderful, whether you're Christian or not. Those are all good things. Help the poor, feed the hungry. No one is a stranger. Everyone is my friend. He said that all, the beatitudes. I don't know these Christians, so-called Christians nowadays. I don't know that they read the Bible. Because they're all good things. And they're in all religions. Those same ethics are in all religions. Even the Muslim religion or the Jewish religion, they're more, don't hurt anybody, is what they say in all those religions, right?
And most of us are in agreement with that.
Yes.
There are people in our administrations that profess that they are, that aren't, that enjoy waging war for other means. And they'll tell us whatever we need to hear.
Well, I hope that's not true. I hope it changes.
I hope it does.
And I thank you very much for coming on and being so honest about what you feel.
No, thank you for having me. This has been good.
And so I would like to thank the people who run this studio. They're so sweet. They're lovely to me. Even helped me up when I fell down. So this is the crew of the Hudson TV. Brendan Nault, Mike Pylon, is that right? Yep, and Mike Johnson. They're wonderful, awfully nice people.
No, thank you for putting this together. This is great.
Thank you for everything. And I hope everyone has a peaceful Christmas, a thoughtful New Year. Okay? So I think we should go now. Thank you very much. This is Jean Serino. This is a conversation with Jesse, my favorite name. Jesse, all my dogs were called Jesse.
Gillis,
I
yeah.
have 5 dogs called Jesse.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I love the name. Jesse Gillis and his Veterans for Peace.
Yeah.
And how can they get in touch with you?
Me?
Do you have an email or?
I have an email.
What is it?
Jesse W. Gillis at yahoo.com. So that's JESSE W. Gillis, GILLIS.
And if you can't get in touch with him, or if you're like me, you don't have all these modern devices, you can call me and I'll get in touch with you.
Okay.
And you can get in touch with him. So my number is 603-889-4744. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again. Goodbye.